Level 1-4. The trolley stopped at OG Station. Nolan stepped off, leaving no one left on the trolley save a few gents heading to King's Building. OG Station was empty. The tour change was over an hour ago, and now all that was left was the ticket master and an old turnkey standing post. And by standing post, I mean sitting on his butt sipping tea, playing solitaire. "How many days until your pension, OT?" Nolan asked. 342 days, Sarge. You?" 8,784 days. "How does that make your day, OT?" The OT smiled. "Mighty fine, Sarge. Mighty fine." From the station to the outer wall was about a quarter of a mile, but there were long carriages running around the clock, night and day, to help turnkeys get around. "Sarge," said the OT driving the carriage. "OT," Nolan said, hopping on, not in the back, but next to the old turnkey. "So what's on the menu today?" Nolan asked. "Nothing as far as I know. No incidents of any kind. We're all just waiting for Lord Richie McRich to get here. You gonna teach us one a thing about a thing or two, Sarge?" "Thought crossed my mind," Nolan said. Nolan hopped off and the OT told him to be safe, and Nolan told him, "You too, be safe. Though, when all you do is drive a cart every single day, it's pretty easy to stay safe." It's pretty good to be an OT, Nolan thought, and then gave pause, suddenly wondering if he would ever get the chance to be one himself. Probably not. Nolan entered the admin building, a large brick tower attached directly to the outer wall. Admin building was the only way in or out of the dungeon, and then, once you entered, you were in for another cart ride, just to get to turntable so you could then hop on a lift and get down below. Nolan, feeling as if his trolley snooze hadn't made a dent, needed to keep his energy up, so he opted to walk instead. But the closer he got, the slower his steps became, until he was directly in front of the quiet Riot Memorial statue, on top of the front steps outside of turntable, looking again at his scarred face. "Torres, no, please no." Nolan shook his head. "Where am I?" He got all fuzzy again for a moment. For a moment, he was not sure if the riot had happened 4 years ago or yesterday, but he looked down at his uniform and saw that it was a sergeant uniform, and he knew it wasn't yesterday. It often felt like yesterday, like the riot was his last new day, and every day since was the exact same thing, over and over again, repeating and repeating and repeating. He reached his hand over his face, hoping he would feel nothing but smooth skin again. But the scar was still there. The past 4 years had not been a dream. The memorial consisted of 6 turnkey statues, 3 lieutenants, and 1 captain who had lost their lives in the riot, and even 10. Nolan was a statue in the memorial too, though he wasn't even dead yet. Sharperton had insisted. "Why, as our hero, Nolan, you should be in the memorial. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to put up so much more statues than an even 10. Yes?" Ever since Nolan was a kid, he wanted nothing more than to be a hero. He wanted to save his day and get his face in the papers. Be careful what you wish for, Nolan thought. "Well, if it isn't Mr. Ogre Dungeon himself," said Smitty. And before Nolan could even look up, the IOD was upon him.